Hey y'all, it's Leah. I am back with some of my Dephemerember makes. So I'm going to show you days 11 and 12, and then I ended up taking about a 2-week break just because I started organizing my craft space and got really sucked into that. And so I wasn't crafting as much because I was cleaning out and doing all of that stuff. So, but I did jump in and do day 29 yesterday because I saw Luisa's video and fell in love with the technique and just had to try it immediately. So I'm super excited to show you those. So day 11 was leaves, envelope, and owls. And so I made these cute little envelopes. These were both used things. This was a coin or a stamp envelope that I got from an antique store. I had bought a bag of stamps and it had this inside of it. So it's, I don't know, the stamps in it were old. I think they were from the 60s. So the envelope is probably about that old. And I just fell in love with it. I love these glassine envelopes, and especially when they're older and they get yellowed and that. And so then I just added a couple of little textures on there, some textured paper, and then added this die cut leaf and this fun little owl. And so that is one. And then I found this cute little owl sticker and I just thought he was so adorable. And so this was a envelope that came, some stamps came inside of it. And so it just closes, it's kind of a little coin envelope type style. And so I added a little burlap and then some die cut leaves and put the little owl on front. So these are going to go into, one will go into my fall journal and one will go into a botanical journal, or like kind of a nature journal that I am doing. Okay, so that's those. That was day 11. And then day 12, I watched Luisa's technique and had to try that one as well. I'm having so much fun kind of doing some mixed media things. So with this, they're all different styles. I talked about this, I think, in my last video, that when we started this kind of compartmental making, it made me sort of think about what are my future journals? What do I want to do? And so I made a list of all of the journals that I want to do in the future, and I keep adding to them, which is really good. It's good for me to have this visual, and I just keep it right by me when I am working. So that way, anytime I see a fun idea, I can sort of do a mass make with different styles, and just instead of just having a bunch of neutral things that I added to later. I like actually being able to work with my papers and just different products and stuff and colors and to make it kind of fit. Some of them they're not going to be completely finished until I get to that journal, but it's nice to just kind of have that base. So this technique this was the packaging and bookmark. And so Luisa had showed us how to take some plastic packaging. So this was, I can't even remember, something that came, it was in one of those like plastic boxes. And so I ran it through. This one's a little bit hard to see, so I'm not sure if you're able to see it on the screen, but there are some gears on here. So this is kind of for a future steampunk journal. So ran it through the embossing machine and then used some alcohol ink on that. And so this one I went ahead and did the full cutout. So I cut out both sides and then sandwiched my plastic in between, and then just added some gears with some, this has some Wink of Stella in gold in there. And then I had this cool just mesh that has like this copper on there. So I thought that would be really cool for that one. This one's going to go into my Louisiana journal. So this is, again, some of that plastic in there. And this plastic was just from a stamp sheet. Luisa had showed that because she stores her stamps differently. So she has all those plastic sheets that the stamps come on. And so I had one of those that I wasn't using. And so I went ahead and ran that through the embosser and just with some dots. And this was some alcohol ink paper that I had done earlier with kind of some Mardi Gras colors on there, and then just added some purple on the back and my little fleur-de-lis brad at the top. This one is going to go into the botanical journal. This is a bark embossing folder on there, so you can kind of see that, and then just added some textured paper on the back. And then this one will go in my fall journal. This was some cool paper that my mom had made for me. She took a book page and then put a fall napkin on top of it. And then I just cut out my center. And then this, instead of the alcohol ink, I actually used gilding wax on top of that. And it really makes those leaves really pop. And then just had that on top. So I know some of them look more like tags, but I kind of think tags and bookmarks can be sort of interchangeable, especially if they're flat. That's kind of what I think of with a bookmark, is it's going to be flat, whereas a tag might have more embellishments on it. So that was my day 12 makes. And then yesterday, day 29, was the coin envelope and spilled ink. And Louisa did this technique where you smushed some ink down on a glass mat, and then took some watercolor paper and smushed and then dried in between. So you get different layers of color. And really, when you add the heat, I think, to it, it really kind of gives those different colors. And when you keep layering it, you do get those secret colors that she talked about with the oxide inks. And then I scanned this into my scanner, and this is my, yes. Nope, that's not the right one. That's that one. I don't know where that actual page went that I had for that paper. Anyway, so I'll show you with this one. So do the smushing on there, and then scanned it, and then I printed it onto these old documents that I had. This was like taking your baby home kind of documents that I had gotten. It was in something. And so printed it on there, and then I can use those to make the coin envelopes like I did with this one. So I'm really excited. And then you have, it's kind of a extra thing, because now you have these cool things that you can use for later. You've got these prints, plus you've got them scanned, and so you can use them at different times. And so I even scanned some envelopes like she did. So I had that there. So I'm going to do some fake coin envelopes with that. Then you end up with, it prints on your copy paper. And so you've got these lovely pieces that you can use as well. And so I'm super excited about these. This one I put a physician's certificate on there. The other thing was, you end up with your tape. So for these things where you tape it on there, my tape does not, actually, I didn't try to dry it. Hers, she was able to dry it and use it. I didn't try to dry it, but I just did her technique where you just take another piece of tape and lay it over. And so that way I will have kind of my fake washi when I pull this off, so I can use this tape as well. And then I've got that for this one. This one's going to go in my Americana journal that I'm doing with like some World War II letters. I thought that would be really cool for that. So I'm super excited to use these papers in a variety of ways. I think that really helps kind of with the compartmental making, is now I've got more things that I can use to maybe add to that or add to another piece later on. So I hope you enjoyed those. Hope you are having fun with Dephemerember. It's sad that it is almost over, but I have lots of videos to go back and watch. Lots of cool techniques to learn. So I will see y'all next time. Bye.